Introducing DataJaguar, Operations Improvement Beyond Automation. DataJaguar is a new tool designed to improve your plant's production by extending delta V with an operations view of production. Let's look at how DataJaguar can streamline your batch operations improvement program as soon as it's installed. Let's start with the batch status screen. Batch status displays each of the current running batches and what their status is. In short, this shows what's happening in the system versus the plan. Note that the batch stages are shown in operational terms instead of automation terms. This allows all plant personnel to understand progress, not just those familiar with the automation recipes. Any batch that's executing behind schedule is indicated in yellow or red. I can just click on the down arrow to expand my view and see which stages contributed to an issue and why. In addition to the current running batches, I can also look at the batch history and again view the details as to why something executed as it did. Right off the bat, what we're doing is contextualizing information so that your operators, supervisors, and schedulers know what's happening in your plant. One nice feature is that each user can create their own presets for future use. This allows different users to filter the information that's most useful for them. The global filter is available in all other screens we are going to see. One of the most important features of DataJaguar is to prompt the operator to enter the reasons why an item is behind or ahead of schedule. Because these reasons are captured in real time, the data is reliable. The reasons are organized in a hierarchy and specific enough to enable process improvement. The Reasons tab allows you to analyze all the reasons that the operators have entered. When you click on one of the reasons, you can see the minimum and maximum and standard deviation, as well as the batches and stages where that reason occurred. You can also see the user who entered the comment along with all the details. Ultimately, this analysis page allows you to decide what can be improved in your work practices, maintenance, or other areas, and encourages operation and maintenance personnel to collaborate on areas of improvement. Now, let's look at the batch comparison. By clicking on this view, we are able to see both current and historical batches, as well as compare them to the targets we've prescribed in the system. What you can see in this chart is the target time for the end of the cool phase, along with the upper and lower bounds. The chart currently shows two batches, one of which took longer and the other less time than they were supposed to. Very quickly, operators and supervisors can view how the various batches are executing according to plan. I can also use the filter to deselect one of the batches and see how the batch graph redraws according to what I've selected. Let's take a look at the recipe analysis. This gives you a great view of your recipes, the stages within the recipe, and a historical view of your actual execution. This card shows a particular unit procedure, and within that, each of the units that ran and their defined stages. We can immediately tell the number of times they've run, the minimum, maximum, and standard deviation for the execution of those times. Interestingly enough, we can easily compare filter kettle 1 to filter kettle 2. You can see that the cool phases run very similarly between the two units. However, if we look at the filter phase, we can see that there's about a 5-minute spread between the two kettles. That's likely something your operations team will want to delve into a little further. Anytime you encounter a blue down arrow, this button allows you to export the system data as an Excel file. Let's move to the overall equipment effectiveness screen. You can quickly see effective production time versus lost production time for each of the productions last week. When I hover over the slices, DataJaguar will give you an actual number for lost time or effective time. If I want to view these same metrics for the quarter or for the year, I simply click here. If I want to add a unit, I can click here, and now we've got our trend for the second unit. The OEE display provides a quick view of your entire plant's performance, enabling all personnel to stay on target. For the last part of our demo, we'll take a look at DataJaguar's operator interface, which shows 3 different ways to view lost time. The summary shows lost time for the unit within the time frame selected, whether a week, a month, or a year. We can see the number of batches, the average lost time per batch, and the standard deviation. Click here to see the batches that comprise that number, and then further drill down to the details for any of the batches. We can see an alternate view by clicking on the unit event. The unit event shows each of their stages and their variances from target. If we filter this further, we can quickly focus on the stage or stages that are contributing to our variability. When you hover over any individual event, you can see the batch ID, the time, and the number of minutes attributed to that particular loss. If you want to determine if this is an overall trend, we can change our time range from just this week to a year. Here's how we do that. As the charts we draw, we can continue to discover which trends we should be focusing on. In this example, we have quite a large variance in our filtration phase, so our operators and supervisors need to explore why we have such a wide variance. Our last card is an aggregation of lost time. You can view this across a year, month, or any time frame you desire. This is a good indication of how your production has been going for that unit. An operator would typically like to see this metric year over year, week over week, or day after day. From our example, you can see that we have 2 peaks approximately the same time on 2 different units. That's probably an area where we had a plant shutdown or some other type of global event versus an individual event specific to that unit. There's a lot of intelligence that can be garnered from these trends. And again, it's another view that can help you gain insight into what's been going on at your plant. Spend less time sorting through information and let DataJaguar provide you the answers you need to take action.